Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope all of you are doing well. And once again, I welcome all of you, my dear participants, to a live episode on how to deliver a great TEDx talk. Now, I take this opportunity once again to basically introduce you to the concept behind TED Talks. So, as you all know, that PlanetSpark basically caters to the needs of the young guns. It empowers young guns with all kinds of public speaking, creative writing, confidence building, and personal developmental skills. And these live episodes that we bring to you, ladies and gentlemen, are basically an embodiment of the kind of efforts we are making in the areas of personal development for young guns. Now we have a lot of exciting episodes being played at PlanetSpark TV Live. I go live every day from Monday to Friday, 7:15 to 8 o'clock. And during these 45 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, I walk you through some pragmatic ideas, some tactics, some methodologies on how to become a great TED speaker. And what we basically do is that we design these episodes in a way that they become very holistic and digestible for you. So we try delivering tidbits of information in every episode. And eventually, ladies and gentlemen, the aim is to empower you so that you become an effective speaker in your domain, in your craft, and you become a merchant of wow. Now, the concept behind TED is basically, as we know, the tagline ideas worth spreading. So, we basically try to help you develop a thought structure that helps you generate ideas that you think is worth spreading, ideas that are worth spreading. So it's all about idea generation, number one. Number two, filtering your thought. After you actually generate ideas, it's incredibly important that you filter your thoughts and try to basically understand what the audience needs, understand the needs, interests, concerns, and expectations of your audience, and eventually go on to deliver the workshop, deliver the talk or the content you've prepared. So, my dear participants, it's not just about the content, it's basically a combination of your content, your preparation, your voice modulation, your body language, your selection of words. Absolutely, all of these elements come together to help you produce a commendable TED talk. Now we know that the TED world happens to be prodigious. We have absolutely every topic, every theme that we cover under TED. And that's the reason why what we do in these episodes is that we try to bring to you episodes from diverse domains, from different areas, from different walks of life, so that you are able to actually deliver any TED talk on any given topic, on any topic under the sun. Now, even though the TED stands for technology, entertainment, and design, trust me, the topics are not just limited to these three themes. You can speak on any topic under the sun, provided your idea is worth spreading. Your idea is healthy, it's productive, it's unique, it's simple, and eventually it's also actionable. Right? That's the basic criteria of an idea. Otherwise, you're most welcome to go ahead, spread ideas, reach out to people, and be an influencer in your own space at your own pace. So, on that note, I welcome all of you once again. I see that we have a lot of viewers who've joined in today on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Thank you so much, my dear participants. And trust me, it's your encouragement, your wishes that keep us going. So, thank you so much for being our fire in the belly. And please make sure that you join us every day. Keep supporting us with your unflinching support. And I'm sure we'll go a long way in this journey of empowerment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for us to get started. Let's talk about how to deliver a great TEDx talk and eventually dazzle your audience, not just with your ideas, but also with your oratory skills. So, participants, let's talk about what we have in store for you today. What's the agenda for the day? So, as you see on the screen right now, we are going to embark upon the live session with an icebreaker, move on to the fundamentals of a TED talk. Now, I'm going to be explaining the three fundamentals to you once again. In the last 25 episodes, we've been throwing light on these three fundamentals. I'm going to repeat that for you. So I'm going to repeat the fundamentals for you. Please make sure you stay tuned with me till the end of this session. We'll move on to one of the fundamentals today using the new topic. Remember the new topic we've chosen for you? We'll come to it again. We'll have a lot of exciting games that we'll be playing today. We'll actually play games like Who Said This, Fastest Fingers First, I'm going to ask you some questions at the end under the section Think Smart. We'll summarize everything by the end of the session. And three bonuses for you. Number one, I'm going to give you some words to add to your vocabulary. Number two, I'm going to give you some expert tips here and there on public speaking and presentation skills. And number three, I'm going to give you a recommendation, a video recommendation at the end, so that you know exactly what to watch when you're trying to develop your TED speaking abilities. Now, let's quickly have an icebreaker, boys and girls. So let's get to know each other better. We know that we have new audiences joining us every day. Some of some of the participants are the same, and I'm really appreciative of that fact. But I'm sure we have new participants, new joinees every now and then, and that's the reason it's important we get to know each other. So let's quickly have an icebreaker. Can you recall a selfless deed done by you? I would really appreciate your comments. You can maybe type this in a single sentence and share it with me in the chat box. Let's see, I'm waiting for you. No, honestly, as human beings, all of us are, we do something exciting, we do something compassionately every single day. There are times when we do a lot of thankless jobs as well. We don't really expect anything in return. So, can you recall a selfless deed done by you? Maybe you do that every single day. Things that you're taken granted for, perhaps. All right. Lovely. So I do see some lovely comments here. And looks like most of you happen to be good Samaritans. And all of us believe in the power of good deeds, selfless deeds. And we don't really expect anything in return in such cases. All right, participants, thank you so much for your response. Let me move on to the next question. What is kindness according to you? Reminds me of a beautiful proverb that kindness begins with a smile. How will you define kindness? It's not always about making a massive splash and doing something remarkable and letting people know about it. Maybe small deeds that we do, every now and then. Just spreading happy vibes, being kind to people around you. Maybe a word of appreciation could go a long way in actually helping you spread kindness and be an epitome of kindness for people around. All right. So looks like my viewers have some amazing comments here. Thank you so much, everyone. My last question for you. If you could choose one, who would your humanitarian role model be? So, humanitarian basically is an individual who serves humanity, who performs unwavering service towards humanity, maybe a philanthropist. So, who's your favorite philanthropist? Not necessarily a public figure, but anyone you look up to when it comes to reaching out to people and serving them. All right, my dear participants, thank you so much for your responses. I appreciate them with the hope and expectation that you'll continue to be as proactive. Now we come to the fundamentals of a TED Talk, boys and girls. What exactly are the fundamentals? Fundamentals are the foundations. What forms the foundation of a TED Talk? Now, if you aspire to become a good speaker, a good presenter, a good orator, a good commentator, anything to do with public speaking or with oratory skills or with effective communication, please remember, boys and girls, that you have to keep in mind the three fundamentals, the three foundational elements of a TED Talk or a presentation or a script. And what are they? So basically, right now, my dear participants, we're working only at script writing because you know that to be a good presenter, you actually need to work rigorously at your script preparation, at making your speech plan. What will you deliver? Because a good speaker is always a good writer. So, step number one to becoming a great TED speaker is actually writing down a remarkable speech that has ideas worth spreading. A speech that is, prepared with meticulously. A speech that includes all the essential elements that you need to reach out to people, impact their lives, and eventually transform their lives. You know, that's all about script writing, and that's what we're dealing with in the first few episodes. And gradually, we'll then move on to delivery, stage etiquette, and all kinds of exciting topics. So, right now, we've been dealing with the three fundamentals for the last few weeks. And we discussed about the three fundamentals in almost all the episodes. Number one, strong opening. Number two, a big purpose. Number three, a personal touch. Now, participants, what do we mean by these three elements? Let me quickly explain them to you. Number one, a strong opening is all about uh, a remarkable beginning. Making sure you invest enough time and energy in preparing an eye opening and a mind boggling beginning. Beginning in the last episode, in the previous episode itself, I told you to make sure that your beginning is mind blowing, it's captivating. You have to make sure that no matter what the topic is, you have to incorporate, you have to begin with a quote, move on to the a positive statement or a catchy line, and then raise relevant questions. Then, after you're done with this attention grabbing devices, you then move on to the basic introduction of your topic and in a lucid language. And then gradually you move on to some fascinating facts about the topic. That's your opening. Once you're actually incorporating these elements in your opening, my dear participants, nothing to worry about. Trust me, you will impact your audience and they will be glued to you for the rest of the presentation. As they say that your first impression is undoubtedly an important expression, an important impression. And let's remember this, that human beings these days are suffering from attention deficit disorder. We get distracted very easily. So if somebody is not able to actually influence you or make a mark in the first few seconds, we don't really feel like continuing to listen to the person, to the speaker. And so your first few seconds are crucial, and these tips will actually help you write a mesmerizing opening or a beginning. The next one, boys and girls, is a big purpose. Now, what do we exactly mean by a big purpose? A big purpose is all about the act of incorporating the importance of the topic in your content writing. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you include a few sentences on how significant the topic is. Make sure that you establish the idea that the topic is relevant not just for you, but for your audience. All right. Coupled with this, you have to also incorporate some structures like cause and effect, problem and solution, and by the end of it, bring it all together. Summarize everything. The last one is a personal touch, ladies and gentlemen, which is all about incorporating your personal experiences, your views, your opinions, your vistas on the topic given to you. Because when you do that, you basically increase your credibility as a speaker, you create some emotional weightage in your content, you create a rapport of trust building with your audience, and more importantly, you create a sense of intrigue and curiosity in your listeners. And therefore, it's essential that you actually have these three elements in your talk, no matter what the topic is, no matter the amount of preparation, time given to you for preparation, no matter how prepared or unprepared you are. Even if it's an extempore speech, if you try incorporating these three elements in your speech, trust me, your speech structure would look robust and I'm sure you'll have a great time. So Fozia says, hi teacher, I'm 8 years old. Oh my God, Fozia. So happy, so glad to know about you. And please make sure you join episodes every day, Fozia. And I'm very sure in a few weeks you will basically be able to give a basic TED talk. And I'm cheering for you. All right, now participants, you know that we have chosen a new topic for the day for these 3 days, and the topic is the power of humanity. Now, before we actually continue to prepare a script revolving around this theme, let me quickly describe this power of humanity to you using some lucid sentences. So, as you see on the screen right now, it says that humanity is a virtue linked with the basic ethics of altruism. I told you yesterday, altruism basically means selflessness derived from human condition. It also symbolizes human love and compassion towards each other. Humanity differs from mere justice in that there is a level of altruism towards individuals included in humanity more than the fairness found in justice. So we try to distinguish fairness from humanity. That is, humanity and the acts of love, altruism, and social intelligence are typically individual strengths, while fairness is generally expanded to all. So, we talk about how humanity is a very individual trait and how we can actually consider humanity as simple acts of love, altruism, and social intelligence at the same time. Now, today's agenda is very simple, boys and girls. We will be discussing the power of humanity. And in yesterday's episode, we actually dealt with the first fundamental, that is opening. In today's episode, boys and girls, we will be discussing the second fundamental, which is a big purpose. Now, what exactly is a big purpose? Let's find about the big purpose in detail. All right. Now, big purpose basically is incorporating the importance of the topic in your talk. And there are two things that immediately happen. Three things that immediately happen. You produce while you are incorporating the big purpose. Number one, every time you include the importance of the topic, you are trying to emphasize on why is this topic critically important for you and for your listeners as well. So, what happens is you try to bring immediate attention of your audience to the topic, to the relevance of the topic. Number one. Number two is that you try to create a sense of curiosity in the audience, right? The moment you incorporate the significance, you generate a sense of intrigue and curiosity in the audience. Number three, it helps you build your credibility. The audience can actually believe in you, and that's very important. That's something we all crave for as speakers and influencers. Audience believing in us. May not be blindly, but having faith in us, in our abilities, in our expertise. Now, let's talk about the three essentials of a big purpose. Now, if we say that please make sure that you have a big purpose, what elements should we include in the big purpose? All right. So, we can now talk about the three elements, the three essentials that you need to include in your big purpose are: number one, my dear participants, emphasizing the topic. Number two, breaking down the topic in various structures, like I mentioned earlier: cause, effect, problem, solution. And number three, bringing it all together. Three things to remember: emphasizing the topic, breaking the topic, and bringing it all together. Bringing it all together is all about summarization. I'm going to be explaining all these three terms to you gradually, one by one. Please stay tuned with me. The first one, boys and girls, is the essential number one: importance of the topic. What do we mean by this, and what are the examples for you? So, let's talk about the importance of being human, the power of humanity. Okay. So, if you are giving a talk on the power of humanity, you're done with the strong opening. Now, when you move on to the big purpose, how to incorporate the big purpose in your talk on the theme, the power of humanity, I'm going to give you some simple, powerful, lucid examples right away. So, as you see on the screen, just being a good human that defines you everywhere. All that you need to work upon is being helpful to the needy at all times and every place, being loving and caring towards all living beings, even plants and animals, and above all, understand one another's problem and realize the situations they're all in and be considerate. Not just that, you can continue saying that humanity means caring for and helping others whenever and wherever possible. Humanity means helping others at times when they need that help the most. Humanity means forgetting our selfish interests at times when others need our help. Humanity means extending unconditional love to each other and to every living being on the planet. You can also continue adding some more lines to it. You can continue saying that one does not need to have a hefty bank account to contribute towards humanitarian activities. Paying a domestic help fairly is also humanity. Lifting the bag for an old woman is humanity. Describing helping a disabled person to cross the road is humanity. Helping your mom in chores is humanity. In fact, helping anyone who's in need is the definition of humanity. Right? How amazing is that description, you see? That's how you incorporate the importance of a particular topic in your script, boys and girls. Please try doing this with any topic that is given to you, whether it's humanity, whether it's a human virtue, whether it's your experience, whether it's something thrilling, it's something adventurous, it's something technical. You can always try incorporating your big purpose in this manner. All right, now let me quickly give you an expert tip, boys and girls. Please remember, humanity is not something you learn from experts. Doing what makes you happy and at the same time putting a smile on somebody else's face is an act of humanity. Let's not feel that humanity is about making a big splash and being a philanthropist and doing deeds of charitable deeds every now and then. It's all about small things that go a long way in bringing a beaming smile to someone's face. Now, a word that I would want you to add to your vocabulary, my dear participants, the word is altruism. Altruism basically stands for disinterested and selfless concern for the well being of others. Disinterested and selfless concern, selflessness for the well being of others. Let me give you a sentence as well to help you understand this better. Some may choose to work with vulnerable elderly people out of altruism, out of selfless affection, right? That is a sentence for you. Let's move on to the third game for the day, which is who said this. Now, my dear participants, you all know that we have basically included this game in our episode because we want to promote the idea of quotes, the power of quotes, quotations, right? So please make sure that you listen to these quotes, you memorize them, maybe note them down somewhere, and try using them in your talks whenever possible. The first quote I have for you is, "My humanity is bound up in yours, for we can only be human together." My humanity is bound up in yours, so we can only be human together. Well, that's a beautiful, powerful quote by Desmond Tutu. All right. So, the reason why I'm sharing these quotes with you, my dear participants, is because they're based on the theme we've chosen, the power of humanity. And I told you, for me, making a journal, making a note of quotes, anecdotes, short stories, short poems, short lines, one liners actually made a huge difference in helping me memorize certain content and using them maybe any time during a discussion, during an impromptu speech, or during an extempore speech. Let me move on to the next quote for you. It is, compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity. Compassion becomes real when we recognize our shared humanity. Once again, a quote capturing the essence of togetherness and harmony. That's a quote, ladies and gentlemen, by Pema Chodron. And it basically is synonymous to the power of humanity. The third quote for you is, I hope that people will finally come to realize that there's only one race, the human race, and we're all members of it. Again, a quote that captures the essence of one race, one community, one earth, one planet. This is a quote by Margaret Atwood. Okay, my dear participants, now I'm going to move on to the second element for you. The first element was, number one, importance of the topic given to you. The second element, ladies and gentlemen, is break the topic down. Now, what do we exactly mean by breaking the topic down? So please remember, it simply means that you divide your topic into different structures. Now, I mentioned earlier, boys and girls, that human minds love structures. They love structures primarily because we are hardwired for structures. Our minds are hardwired for designs. So if you have a typical structure while actually delivering something, it could be a discussion, it could be a talk, it could be a basic interaction, it could be an interview. It will go a long way in helping you become more memorable and helping you establish your credibility. Right? So breaking it all together, I'm going to give you two structures here. Number one, strengths of humanity. So, in the first part, you talk about strength of humanity, and number two, how it affects people. All right, so strength of humanity, how it affects people. That's the structure we'll be following. We try changing these structures a little bit in every episode for every theme. Now, let me explain this to you in detail. So, for strengths of humanity, you can basically divide this topic into three parts: love, the first, strength of humanity; second one, kindness; and third one, social intelligence. You can always divide your topic in these elements, into these components, to help you deconstruct this and deliver probably with a more sense of clarity and coherence. Let's see what we can write based on this. For love, you can say love has many different definitions ranging from a set of purely biological and chemical processes to a religious concept. As a character strength, love is a mutual feeling between two people, characterized by attachment, comfort, and generally positive feelings. It can be broken down into three categories: love between a child and their parents, love for your friends, and romantic love. Having love as a strength is not about capacity to love as such, it is about being involved in a loving relationship. So that's exactly how we define love in the context of humanity. We'll move on to the second pillar, which is kindness. How do we define this? So, I have an example here for you. Kindness is the sincere and voluntary use of one's time, talent, and resources to better the lives of people around one's own life and the world through genuine acts of love, compassion, generosity, and services. So that's how we define kindness under the context of humanity. And the last one, my dear participants, is social intelligence. Now, that is quite interesting, right? Let's see what that is. Social intelligence basically is the most modern of the three strengths associated with humanity: the character strengths and virtues. Basically, CSV, character strength and virtues. Psychological assessment defines social intelligence as the ability to understand relationships with other people, including the social relationships involved in intimacy, trust, persuasion, group membership, and political power as well. All right, participants, that's how we actually consider the three pillars of humanity: love, kindness, and social intelligence. After you define all three of them, we then move on to the next part of the division, next part of the structure, which is how it affects people. So we'll have a couple of lines on this as well. So as you see on the screen, humanity is an important part of life, which tells to other people to help other people. Try to understand others and realize the people's problems with our own eyes and try to help them out. Showing humanity, one does not, to show humanity, one doesn't really need to be a rich person. Even a poor person can show humanity by helping someone or sharing his or her food, etc. So you see, in every kind, in every sentence, in every example, we're trying to highlight the significance of minor acts, small deeds, you see. Continuing with how it affects people, you can continue to tell that being a person of any religion, be a person of any religion, be a human first, be a human lover, strive for humanity, as every religion teaches us humanity, and share your life with others, as life is all about living for others and serving humanity. That is why no religion is higher than humanity. So, serving for humanity from today by doing small acts of kindness, which will give you inner happiness and satisfaction in your whole lifetime. Humanity is the only inner voice that one could imagine, and no one could do without this, right? So, what we do, we first have the three pillars of happiness, of humanity, and then we move on to the impact of these three pillars on people in general. Now, on that note, it's time for me to give you another word to add to your vocabulary, boys and girls, and the word is endearment. Endearment basically is a synonym for love and affection. So, a word expressing again love and affection. Let me give you a sentence also. She was whispering endearments and repeatedly kissing her just born daughter. Isn't that amazing? Yes, absolutely divine. So she was whispering endearments, a word or phrase expressing love or affection, and repeatedly kissing her just born daughter. Now let's have fastest fingers first. I want all my participants to be proactive now. I'm going to ask you some simple questions. I want you to answer the question in either yes or no. And I want you to be very active in the chat box. Okay, so my young audience, let's talk about the fastest fingers. Is this true or not? Helping animals is also an act of humanity? Yes or no? I have a lot of school kids who've joined me today. What do you all think? All right, brilliant. Most of you say yes, and the answer is absolutely correct. Well done, boys and girls. Let's move on to, was Adolf Hitler a humanitarian? What would you say? Was Adolf Hitler a humanitarian? Now, most of us have our own views about it, but generally speaking, for the kind of the body of work that Hitler had created, we know that he wasn't a humanitarian. All right, the next one, the third element, ladies and gentlemen, is bringing it all together. It's all about summarizing everything by the end. How do you do that? I'm going to have just a couple of sentences for you to show you how to summarize. So, basically, ladies and gentlemen, we discussed the importance of strength, we discussed the importance, strength of humanity, love, kindness, and social intelligence, and also its effect on people. Hence, the power of humanity is something that defines us in both logic and nature. It is not only essential for one's own life, but also forms the foundation of human lifestyle, because human lifestyle is built upon the foundation of kindness. That's how you summarize. So, summarizing is all about telling your audience what did we discuss in the last few minutes. All right. Now, let me ask you some questions, boys and girls. Let's see if you're able to answer them correctly. Number one, Dandi March was led by which Indian humanitarian? Is it Sarojini Naidu, Gandhiji, or Rabindranath Tagore? Okay, so we have some comments here. Absolutely, participants. It was led by Mahatma Gandhi. We all know that. The next question for you is, which American actress is known for her humanitarian deeds? We've heard her speeches everywhere at various platforms as well. A very prominent actress, par excellence. She's a masterclass, we know that. Anyone in the comment section? Well, outstanding participants. Very well said. Emma Watson. Uh, Angelina Jolie as well. All right. So Angelina Jolie, because she's also the ambassador at the United Nations, and we've seen her involved in so many philanthropic deeds also. Right. Thank you so much for your responses, participants. Now it's time for me to give you a TED recommendation. And what's the recommendation that I have for you? I want all of you guys to watch this TED talk by Shah Rukh Khan on the topic thoughts on feelings, thoughts on humanity, fame, and love. Oh, well, it's one of the most watched TED talks by an Indian speaker, and very few Indians have actually made it to the TED Global, and Shah Rukh Khan is one of them. And this TED talk is absolutely endearing, primarily because of its content, because of the thoughts that Shah Rukh Khan shares. And what I loved about this talk was the authenticity. He's so real with the audience, and the love people shower on him. Oh my God, it's incredible. Please make sure you watch this TED Talk, my dear participants, and I'll be so happy to take the topic forward from here tomorrow. So, in today's episode, we discussed about the big purpose and the three elements of the big purpose, emphasizing on the topic, breaking down the topic, and summing it all together. Now, let's quickly cast a glance at the project work. I want you guys to collect your memories of the kind acts you've done in the past and share and inspire your friends as well and siblings by telling these stories to them. Keep a target of doing at least 5 noble small acts every single day. And tomorrow, my dear participants, I'm going to catch you again. We'll be having a holistic and a power packed discussion on the last fundamental of a TED Talk, which is a personal touch. So, we will be basically taking into consideration the topic, the power of humanity, and discussing about the personal touch, how to incorporate your personal experiences, your views on the topic, the power of humanity. So, I take this moment, ladies and gentlemen, to thank all of you for joining me. And Fozia, the name of the video is Thoughts on Humanity, Fame, and Love. You can find the link of the TED Talk in the comment section. Please do check it out and do watch the video. Now, participants, thank you so much for joining me today and helping me make this episode a roaring success. I'm going to catch you tomorrow at the same time. Please do join me, and your feedbacks are solicited. Thanks a lot. Please take good care of yourself. Stay safe and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.